our program, Culture and Christianity. I'm Masikiare, and today we have Mr. John Ng'ang'a. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Okay, and today we'll talk about, we are Christians African, not African Christian. Mr. John Ng'ang'a, what does it mean to be an African Christian?
It's very important to understand what you regard as most important is what you begin with when describing yourself. If you ask, who are you? If you are so proud that you are a woman, you start by saying, I'm a woman. Always obvious.
Yeah.
So when somebody tells you, I'm an African Christian, what he means is, first and foremost, my belief system is African. Then, I can add up Christianity onto it. And that's what we mean. So let me say 3 or 4 things about an African Christian. An African Christian is a person who believes that their traditional beliefs are either equal to or better than the Bible. They look into the Bible to see the many similarities between their traditional beliefs and the Bible and conclude that first and foremost, I want to understand the belief system of my ancestors. And once I believe those systems, I can check how they fit in with the Bible. So when you call yourself an African Christian, the first thing you are saying is, I am directed by the belief systems of our traditions. And if there is a collision between the belief systems of my tribe and the Bible, I'll keep with the belief system of my tribe. That's the first thing we are talking about when you talk about an African Christian, the African. Number 2, which is important, it emphasizes the uniqueness of the African, even if he is a Christian. And there is a possibility, the meaning is, you are a grade above the others. It's just like an American Christian. You are emphasizing the fact that you are a white man as being very important. Unfortunately, it contradicts the Bible, so therefore it doesn't, because once you become a Christian, you are not regarded, the critical thing is whether you are white or black, Kikuyu or you are Igbo, you are all Christians. But the second thing, the emphasis when you say, I'm an African Christian, you are actually emphasizing the greatness of your tribe and the greatness of your customs. They are better than others. They are unique. And that is not something that... The third thing that you are saying when you say, I'm an African Christian, is that if you want to know me first, know me as an African. Later you can know me as a Christian, but know me as an African. Now, how would that be correct when you truly had the choice to be African and you chose to be Christian? That's what we are talking about.
Okay, and what does it mean to be a Christian African?
Now, on the other side are people who tell you, I'm a Christian African. I'm a Christian Luo. In other words, when I got born again, I was born again into Christianity. The first time I was born a Luo. Surely if I'm born another time, I cannot still be born a Luo, because the first time I was born a Luo. So to be born again is to say, I am now a different person. 1 Corinthians 5:17 says, you are now a new creation. And because you are a new creation, the first thing it means when you say, I'm a Christian Luo, or I'm a Christian Kikuyu, or I'm a Christian Igbo, is that you have totally surrendered your past. You are a new creation. That means all the beliefs of your people are negated. You begin a new way. The things you used to call bad, you now call good. The things you called good, sometimes now you call bad. Because your vantage point is totally different. Now your worldview is no longer the traditional worldview. What is worldview? The mirror through which you interpret life. You now are wearing new glasses that help you to interpret life in a different way. Because you are born again. So first and foremost, so the first thing you are saying when you say I'm a Christian African is that I'm so changed that this being born again was so transformational. I am not wearing the same glasses I was wearing before. I see life in a different way. The second thing you are saying when you say that I'm a Christian African is that because I am born again, my allegiance has changed. Before, my allegiance was to my ancestors and the things they dictated. Now that I've become a Christian, I can actually say no to curses and blessings of the ancestors in order to get the blessings of Jesus Christ. Paul said, I was a Jew, a Hebrew of Hebrews. He lists in Ephesians chapter 3, he is listing what he has become. And he is very proud. But he says, all these things I counted as done. The things you normally take to the toilet. For the excellency of knowing Jesus Christ. So to be born again means the things you valued, the things your clan thought is great, the thing your traditions instructed, you count them as done. Those are the things that have made you famous. Those are the things that made you special in your clan. But you now, when the alternative is the excellency of knowing Christ, you count it as done. You are ready. Of course, they could even beat you up, even kill you. But you are ready to die rather than lose what Christ has to offer. So when you say, I'm a Christian African, says, I'm a Christian who happens to be an African. So what that means is, first and foremost, which is my third point, is that I'm a Christian. But there may be some things in my African customs, number one, that are in line with the Bible. I'll continue doing them. Becoming a Christian does not make you to copy the missionaries' systems, the missionaries' customs. No, the Bible doesn't require you to copy the missionaries' customs. You are free to keep your customs, but only the customs that are in line with the new you. You are a new creation. So now you cannot carry all your customs. So when you say, I'm a Christian African, you are saying that the only thing I can do as an African is what is approved by my being a Christian. And next, when you say I'm a Christian African, you actually want to emphasize that my priority is with Christ. Christian means the anointed one, Jesus Christ, the anointed one, Jesus Christ, the one who is the master, is the one who guides me. But there are things you tell me to do that are in my customs, and I'll actually continue doing them. And there are others that are okay because they don't touch my belief system. But my belief system, first and foremost, is to be somebody who is going to walk with God. So you can see that there's a difference between being a Christian African, where your priority is to be Christian, or an African Christian, where to be a priority is to be an African first and try to look for what can fit and what cannot fit. To be an African Christian means to bring yourself into a real difficult thing, because it means you always be having challenges, very big challenges, because you wonder, which one do I drop, which one do I take? And it is important to ask yourself, how am I going to deal with this? How will I deal with it? Because the issues I made it. As soon as you are born again, there'll be issues. You had a girlfriend, she's not saved. Will she continue being your girlfriend? Or you are married and your husband is still not born again. And there are things the two of you have been doing which you now can't do. That's why becoming a Christian is a very transformational issue. And it will come, and it's something that you have to deal with in your life as you look at this or look at the other. But I want to quote somebody called Bian Kato, who dealt with this subject in his book, Theological Pitfalls in Africa. This challenge of how to be, whether you're a Christian, African, or an African Christian, is something that he himself saw was trying to show us has to be dealt with. In fact, Bien Cato says, let African Christians be Christian Africans. He died in 1975, and he was a PhD holder, and he was the first General Secretary of Evangelicals of Africa and Madagascar. By this statement, or by this aphorism, Cato did not mean that African Christians should degrade themselves of cultural practices. No. He was not saying that because we want to be Christian Africans, there will be no African customs we will continue with. He did not, number two, say we are to adopt Western culture along with the faith, with the Bible faith. No, that's not what he was saying. Any Christian, whatever your area, you are not to copy the customs of the missionary who brought you the message. The message you are to follow is in the Bible. But you see, the missionary also has his own customs. Let the missionary continue with his customs, you continue with yours. But both the missionary's culture and your culture must be judged by the scriptures. You know, Cato, Dr. Bien Cato, did not mean that Africans should remain cultural. He is not saying Africans should change and follow white man's culture. But he also was not saying that we are going to remain cultural and spiritual Africans while dabbing a bit of Christian ritual into their religious practice. This is what is called syncretism, and maybe at another time we need to deal with it. It is important to understand Bien Cato was saying, no, you cannot be both Christian, you cannot have two belief systems inside the same life. You must decide what your belief system is. So you cannot call yourself a Christian and at the same time, you are continuing seeing a witch doctor. You are continuing fearing the curses of your ancestors. The moment you choose that, you're not a Christian. So what did he mean? He saw a regulating pivot between these two extremes, which is the Bible. So don't go to the extreme of forgetting your culture and copying the white man. Or, alternatively, ignoring the Bible instructions and continue with your belief systems. Both are extremes. The in-between is there are many African customs that are actually biblical, although we had them before we ever knew the Bible. There are many customs, African customs, that are innocent. It's just the food we eat, there's nothing belief system about it. It's a preference. That we should continue. So Bien Cato is saying, any custom that allowed by the scriptures, continue with it. Don't drop it. But it must be checked against the pivot, the scripture. What do the scriptures say?
Okay, we are Christians, African, not African Christians. That's what we're discussing tonight. And those who, if you want to maybe give us a comment or your suggestion, our SMS number is 0706 100 100. We'll be right back after the break. Stay tuned.